So in the last class we covered fscan and n-step scan. Okay, so today we will cover our next algorithm, which is look algorithm. Look and see look. We will cover look and see look. Okay, see, in the scan algorithm, what we are doing, we were moving from one direction to one next border and next border to next border. The head will move border to border, right? But in look there is a slight difference, that now the head will not move border to border. It will move from lowest number of cylinder to highest number of cylinder, and highest number of cylinder to lowest number of cylinder requested only. That means we will not go to the border. That means the difference between see look and uh, scan will be that there is no need to go for disk boundaries. As we saw earlier, the boundaries was 0 and 150, right? So we did not to go touch these boundaries at the time of scanning, right? So it is simply look. We will look for only requested disk, not whole. We will not scan whole the disk in one round, right? So this is the difference. So let us understand it. Let's say these are the boundary, and in case of scan we were going to in one pass. If we are moving from to backward, that means our head will move up to 0, and in the next pass it will move up to 150, right? But in case of look, it will not touch boundaries. In case of look, it will only, if it is moving backward, it will move to the last request in that direction, lowest request in that direction, and in the next pass it will move to the highest request in that direction. It will not touch head will not touch boundaries. That means if we are having lowest request of 10, our head will move up to 10, and after up to 10, after cylinder number 10, it will reverse its direction to the, let's say we have highest request of cylinder number 128. It will move up to 128 only, and then again it will reverse its direction, right, if requests are there. So now let us understand it with the same example. And for the change, let us uh, what we'll do, let us change here. Let us change it to increasing order of, let me erase it first. We are changing our numerical, only one change in our numerical, which is movement of direction of movement, right? So now we are assuming that direction of movement is increasing order of cylinders, right? Increasing order of cylinders. So let us understand this look algorithm using this example, right? Currently we are talking about look. Okay, we have to solve it by using look. So cylinder number is given, current position of head is given as 23, and total number of cylinder on the disc has been given as 150, and movement of direction is given, direction of movement is given as increasing order of number of cycles, and this is the disc queue, disc request queue, right? Okay. Okay, now understand first look, how look will behave. Currently our head is at 23 and it will move to increasing number of cylinder. That means it will move in this direction, which is forward direction, because direction of movement has been given increasing number of cylinders. Now check, let us check then that which request is coming in this pass. Okay, so in this pass after 23, nearest position, nearest disk request is of 34. So our head will move 23 to 34. Then next request is 34 to 44. The next request is 44 to 45. The next request is 45 to 54. The next request is 54 to 73. The next request is for 97, so we will move from 73 to 97, and 97 to 110, and 110 to 128. Now we will not move in this direction further, because highest number of cylinder requested in the queue is 128. So we will not move to 150 because it is not in the request queue, but we in scan we have to move 150. But in case of look, we don't move to the 150, we will reverse our head movement after highest number of requests. Now we will move backward after 128, so we will start back pass. Now check in the back pass which request is pending. We have covered 54, 97, 73, 128. 15 we didn't complete covered yet. 44 we have covered, 110 we have covered, 34 we have covered, and 45 we have covered. That means in the next pass we have only one request of cylinder number 15. So in the next moment head will move from 128 to 15 only and stop its traversal, right? So see the difference, we are not moving to 0 and not moving to 150. This is the difference between scan and look. That means we are looking for only those which are in our disk request queue. So I think you understood it, right? So this is the look algorithm, where we don't touch our boundary, we will just look the request, and before starting the pass in that direction we will check which all are the requests we should consider under this pass, and which all are the requests we should cover in the next pass. In example, in before starting our forward pass, algorithm decided that we will cover 34, 44, 45, 57, 73, 97, 110 and 128 in this pass, because these all are requests are coming in this pass only, and the pending requests are coming opposite side of that request. That's why we will cover request of cylinder number 15 at next pass only, right? I think you understood it, and you will calculate you can calculate its total head movement using previous examples which we have done in previous algorithm, like this one, head movement and total head count. You can do it by yourself only. Now let us now go for our second algorithm, which is see look, oh sorry, see look. Okay, we'll use same example, right? So let me copy it and paste it here. Using same example, we'll understand our CLOOK algorithm, right? So CLOOK is same, which is our C-scan. See, in the C-scan, what we did in the C-scan, what we did, we jumped after going reaching to the one border. We jumped directly to the last border, and then again traverse in the same direction. Yeah, what it means, it means that C scan will be unidirectional, only it will revert the direction only for jumping from one border to another, otherwise traversal will be in unidirection, right? Okay, now because the CLOOK and C scan is same, but only difference is we won't touch borders in this CLOOK, right? And our numerical has been changed because of change in direction of movement. Now come, so because direction of movement is already defined, increasing order of cylinder. Okay, now we will move in the same direction. We will go from 23 to 23 to 20, 35, 35 to 45, 44, 44 to 45, 45 to 54, 54 to 73, 73 to 97, 97 to 110, 110 to 128. Now because it has reached highest number of cylinder, we won't go to 150 because it is not C scan, it is look, so we won't touch border. We will directly jump to lowest. Dotted line is showing that it will direct jump to lowest number of cylinder, right? Lowest number of cylinder, and it will traverse again in this direction only, increasing order of cylinder number, right? So when we jump, we traverse from 128 to 15 because 15 is the smallest number of cylinder request we have. If let us say if we have a request of 150 10 also, then this will jump to 10. This will jump to 10 first, and after 10 it will again come back to in this direction to 15. Let us say for example we have another request of let's say 20, so it will jump to 10. It will jump to 10 direct, and after 10 it will go to 15, 10 to 15, then 15 to 20. And if other further request we are having in this direction, we will move according to that direction, right? Let's say let me take another example, that where let me choose another color. Let us say our initially our head is at 54. This is another example. Let us say we have our request, our current cylinder number is head is at 54. Then we will move 54 to 73, 73 to 97, 97 to 110, 110 to 128, and after 128 it will direct jump to lowest number of cylinder, which was 10. It will directly jump to 10. After 10 it will go for 15, then 20, 20, then 23, then 34, 34, then 44, 45, like that. Now using these two examples you can understand how it's behaving like, right? But as the given in the question, if we solve this same question, direct jump will be at 15 and algorithm will stop because we have no further request. But in using another example, we understood it will jump to the lowest number of cylinder, which was 10, and after that it will start again looking for further request in this direction. So in this direction we have request of 15, 20, 23, 34, 24, 45. At 45 it will stop its algorithm. So this is our C look. So as you can understand, C look and normal look is same as scan and C scan, but only difference is we won't go or we won't touch our disk boundary. You need not to touch our disk boundary because moving to disk boundary also introduce head movement to your calculations. So uh, so using look and C look you can avoid those extra movement of head which are introduced by touching boundary, both boundaries in the single pass, right? So this is all about look and C look, and our disk scheduling algorithm has been completed. At this point we have covered almost all the disk scheduling algorithms we have in hand. We have covered FCFS, we have covered FCFS, we have covered SSTF, we have covered scan, C scan, F scan, and step scan, look and C look. So remember one thing, in general they ask for they ask numerical from scan and look. So don't be confused. Remember one thing, don't touch boundaries. In case of look, remember one thing, don't touch boundary of disk, right? Only the difference is between scan and look is that in case of scan it will scan throughout the disk, and in case of look it will scan only the requested cylinder of disk only, not it will not touch our disk boundaries. So this is all about disk scheduling algorithm. I think you understood it. Try to solve more and more numerical on this, because until and unless you won't solve your numericals by your own, you won't understand the difference between them, right? Okay guys, so now let us come to one important part of disk management, which is bad sectors. Let me choose another page. Bad sectors. Okay, so we are going to start bad sectors. So as you know, the sectors which are unreadable are sometimes referred as bad sectors. That means they are unreadable from the head, right? Head reader and writer, reader and writer head. So why the bad sector appears? There may be many reasons. There could be many reasons like like hardware problem. You have problem with your head, or it is touching your disk surface, right? It is touching your disk surface sometimes, and where it is touching the disk surface, maybe there will be a bad sector can be created, right? Second reason could be improper shutdown. Improper shutdown of Windows or operating system, because this is also come under hardware fault, because whenever your window shut down improperly, it will create bad sectors, right? Because at the time it was sometimes it was writing on the disk, and your disk failed because of improper shutdown, right? Or there may be the case that there is dust settlement in your in disk, right? If you are having some dust particles, maybe those sectors where the dust particles are appeared, maybe those could be unreadable from the head, right? Or you are using faulty disk, or your disk is faulty, and it has some it could there could be some variations in the disk surface. That's why some of the disk sectors had been unreadable due to the reason those surfaces are interacting with your head directly, or physical damage, you could say. So this could be the reasons of bad sector creation, and if the bad sectors are there, you need to solve them, because otherwise the data residing on that particular sectors are totally unreadable, you cannot access them. So there are some techniques by which an operating system manage these bad sectors, or disk manufacturers can manage these bad sectors. There are two techniques. One is sector spanning and or forwarding One technique is this, and second technique, how we can control our bad sectors, or we are managing our bad sectors for avoiding reading from the disk, reading from the head. We can have sector swapping. These are two techniques which a manufacturer can use to solve bad sector problem, right? So this is totally dependent on disk controller in use. Depends on disk controller in use, right? Let us first understand disk forwarding, right? Let us understand it first. Let us say this is our disk, and we have some sectors defined in it. Let us say, for example, this is not the exact example. Let us say this is our sector number 1, sector number 2, sector number 3, sector number 4, sector number 5. Let's say we have 5 sectors and 2 reserve sectors. These 2 are reserved for manufacturing site, reserved for managing reserved sectors which are not allocated, right? The, uh, this is our disk where we have 5 sectors and 2 reserve sectors for managing our disk bad sectors, right? Okay, now let us say this uh, this sector number 3 has detected as bad sector, for example. So in case of sector sparing, it is sparing. It is sparing. Sector sparing or sector forwarding. So by using this sector sparing and sector forwarding method, what we'll do, we will we will forward sector numbers in this direction, right? So 1 is not bad sector, it will remain here. 2 is remain here. We will unindex this sector and put sector number 3 here, sector number 4 here, and sector number 5 here, which is the reserved area, right? Right, guys? So I think we need to stop here. No need to spare here. So what we are doing here, we are simply forwarding sector number to our reserve area and blocking this bad sector by reading and writing by our head. See, again understand it. We have our disk where 5 sectors are defined and 2 sectors are reserved for future use, right? For managing the bad sector, by using the technique of sector sparing or forwarding, what we will do, we will unindex our sector number 3 and we will change the index number of all the consecutive sectors to the direction, increasing order of direction, right? So let us understand, because one sector number 1 is as it is not bad sector, it will not change. Sector number 2 will not change. As we have detected sector number 3 as a bad sector, we will block it using bad sector list, by creating bad sector list, and forward its index number to next sector. We have 4 will be renamed as 3, and sector number 5 will be renamed as 4, and sector number 5 will be allocated to one of the reserved sector, right? So you can see we are just slipping or we are just forwarding or sparing our sector index so that the sector number 3 can be unreadable from reader writer head, right? So that's how we can avoid reading of those bad sector, and which will not affect our disk work performance, right? Okay, now by using second method, what we have, sector swapping. In sector swapping, what we are telling, we are saying that if there is a bad sector, we will swap that sector from use to we will swap that sector to with with our reserve sector. So we have two reserve sector in our disk. By using sector slipping method, what we are doing, we know that this is bad sector, sector number 3 is bad sector, it is bad sector, right? So we won't forward this sector to further forwarding. We will simply allocate this index number to our one of reserve sector. So now this reserve sector will be addressed by sector number 3, because we know this is not bad sector. Bad sector has to block the bad sector. We will use its index number and provide it to the reserved sector, which is still unindexed. So we will provide that index number to the reserve sector, so that whatever we are going to write on that sector will come here, right? So, and we are not disturbing any other sectors coming in between. Like in case of sector forwarding, we are disturbing our fourth and fifth index, right? Fifth sector, to forward to forward this bad sector indexing, right? But in case of sector slipping, we are not disturbing 4 and 5. We are simply copying its index sector number and pasting it into this index number to the reserved index, so that our sector number 3 will be available for further reading and writing. But we won't write anything to this bad sector. We will unindex this sector number from the sector list, right? Generally all the manufacturers provide and advanced manufacturers, advanced discs are coming with the bad sector list, right? Sometimes due to the manufacturing malfunctioning, some of the bad sectors has been created initially in the disk, right? So what manufacturer will do, they will define their bad sectors in the bad sector list. That means what this bad sector list will do, let us say initially we have sector number 5, 3 and 4 in bad sector list. This will be stored in disk ROM, disk ROM, right? So what what the reader writer will do, reader writer, whenever a reader writer has to write or read something from the disk, it will check all these disk numbers or sector numbers, and it will not go for these sectors, right? And it will only read or write only on those sectors which are not defined in bad sector list. So currently many manufacturers provide bad sector list in their ROM, disk ROM, so that head movement will go to only available or non-corrupted blocks or non-corrupted sectors of that particular disk, right? And if after uses some of the bad sector has been created, then only it will use then only it will use sector sparing or sector swapping method, or which is dependent on disk controller, right? If the manufacturer defined in the disk controller that it has to use sector sparing or sector forwarding, then it will use sector forwarding or sector sparing. Otherwise it will use sector swapping. There are these two basic methods we have for controlling or for managing our bad sectors, right? But if your disk newly disk has bad sectors, that will be defined in bad sector list by manufacturers only, right? So I think you understood it. Bad sectors, what are bad sectors? So bad sectors are the area or the tracks or the sectors of the disk which are unreadable due to some reason, whether there is hardware fault or there is hardware problem or improper shutdown or dust, due to dust, or disk is faulty. Then you need to take care of bad sectors, because if you are reading bad sectors, that means your system or operating system will be affected by this. That's why we need, what we have to do, we have to stop reading those sectors which are bad in our disk. For stopping those sector to be readable or writable from the head, we need to perform some tasks, techniques, so that those sectors can be unreadable. And though this is done by sector sparing or sector swapping method. So these are two methods by which we can handle handling bad sector, we can handle bad sectors, right? I think you guys understood it very well. These are the two techniques. Generally in the exam they ask for these two techniques in theory, so it is important one, right guys? So I think you understood it very well. It is simple, nothing rocket science here, but you need to understand the difference between both two. In the first one, former one, we need to disturb all the sectors coming after bad sectors. That means we can calculation overhead will be there, right? Need to calculate number of index we are having after just bad sector, and we need to rename or we need to reindex those sector numbers throughout the disk. but in case of sector slipping, we need not to disturb sector numbers. Just after bad sectors, we simply reindex our bad sector index number to the reserved sector, right, which is not indexed in the previously. And after renaming or after reindexing, we will just put this sector number to reserve sector and put it in the sector list. Right now, new sector number 3 will be the our one of our reserve sector, right, and bad sector will be unreadable because it won't come under our sector list, right. Okay, I think this is you understood it very well, and that's all for the day, guys. Hope you understood it. Thanks.